Hello. Good morning, all of you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Okay, let us start with object-oriented
Good
programming
morning, sir.
using C#. Good morning, Puja. Please mute yourself now. Okay, let us start with OP. Can you hear me, all of you? Yes. Can you hear me, all? So let us start with what is OOP, that is object-oriented programming. The object-oriented programming stands for object-oriented programming, where the procedural programming is about with writing the procedures and methods to perform operations on the data. While object-oriented programming is about creating objects that contain both data and methods. You know that procedure-oriented programming, where we can write the programs and we can start to execute that programs, and there is no need to write the procedure for creating the objects, because there is no any facility for creating the objects in procedural programming. So now we know that the C language is a particularly procedure oriented language, programming language, where we write the functions, procedures, the methods. We try on the arrays, we use structures, we properly create the files, and we can do any perform operations on files and arrays, structures and functions and pointers. But in the object-oriented programming, there are also several advantages over the procedural-oriented programming. We know that it is faster and easier to execute, and OOP provides the clear structure for the programs. We know that it helps to keep C# code dry, that is, don't repeat yourself. So you don't write repeatedly the programs, repeatedly the procedures. So OOP helps us to keep this, particularly any program, you can write at single time and you can use a number of times. So makes this code easier to maintain, modify, and debug. Also, the OOP makes it's possible to create fully reusable applications with less code and shorter development time. We know that here, this is very important thing written at the last our statement, that is OOP makes it possible to create full reusable applications with less code and shorter development time. So that is very important, that when we are using OOP, that is object-oriented programming, those applications can be reusable, and we can develop the application with less code, and also it will develop the application in shorter development time. So that is very important aspects of object-oriented programming. We know that what are the classes and what are the objects you have already studied in second year, and classes and objects have different aspects of object-oriented programming. So for example, if here I say that class fruit is a class, and the objects are maybe apple or maybe banana, mango, or any objects, any type of fruit can be, orange can be an object. Here another class is written here, class car is there, and objects are maybe Volvo, Audi, Toyota, Maruti. So there are many objects. So for you can say that the class is a template for object and object in an instance of a class. So what we can say here that object is an instance of a class. When the individual objects are created, they inherit all the variables and methods from the class. So most of the individual objects, when we create, they will inherit the particularly variables and methods from the upper class which the class is developed, and the concerned objects are using the variables and methods. Here you can say this is class and objects. The class dog has a different, 4 dogs are there, but it has different attributes. For example, breed is different, age is different, color is also different. So dog 1 has color black, maybe dog 2 has color white, dog 3 has a different color, dog 4 has also different color. And their behaviors, that is behaviors in the sense that it has some methods. That is how it barks. How it barks is different. How it sleeps is different. What it eats, that is also different. Some dogs may eat meat. Some dogs may eat the roti. Some dogs may eat milk, and so on. So that has a different behaviors. Okay, so that is the class dog has different attributes and states and behaviors. Okay, so whatever everything in the C# is associated with classes and objects along with its attributes and methods. So for example, if in real life a car is an object, the car has a particular attribute such as weight and color, and methods such as drive and brake. We have already taken a revision for that. So what is the C# objects? In C#, the object is a real world entity. So for example, the chair has some sort of entity. So what is the entity? Entity is a particular thing. As I think you are very much familiar with this word entity. So what is that entity? Entity is a word coming from a record and fields. So this is a combination of records and fields. But here we can say it has some meaning. What is entity exactly? The entity is a distinguishable thing and existable thing. So can you say that existable things in the world are number of things are existable in the world, and those I think let's hope that there is some breaking of internet unstable. Internet connection is unstable. It was lost. Again, we resume. So we can say, for example, the air, the car, the pain, mobile, laptop, your earrings, your lockets, your watch, your mobile, your shoes, your sack, your pen, your so everything which is the existable and distinguishable from each other. So that is also an object. So we can say that in other words, object is an entity that has some sort of a state and behavior. And here we can say that state means the data and the behavior means how it the functionality. So functionality, that is the method, and state means the data. Data is which is the variable or the member of that particular classes. So object is a member. So what is object? Object is a runtime entity and it is created at runtime. So many times the object is created at runtime, and these objects, it is a runtime entity where when the program is get executed, these objects will get run. Object is an instance of a class and all the members of the class can be accessed through the object. Object is an instance of a class. Object is an instance of a class. Instance, what is instance? It is a physical thing which is existable in the class. So that is the object. Instance is a physical thing which is existable in the class, that we can call it as object. And all the members may be the objects. So all the members of that class, so that is the objects of the class, can be accessed through the particular object. Okay. What is the object? It is a particularly a unit of object-oriented programming, and it represents the real life. It presents the real life entities. How we can say real life entity? For example, we say that it is car. Car is an object. So it is a life entity. Pen is a real life entity. Mobile is a real life entity. And for a typical C# program, you can create many objects which you know, and it can interact with invoking the particular methods. So what object consists of? Object may consist of state and behavior. State, it is represented by the attributes of an object. So it is, these attributes are the characteristics of an object. It also reflects the properties of an object. So attribute, properties, or you can say characteristics, these all collectively we say that it is a state. So how we can say attribute, how we can say properties, or we can say state, these all representing the state of that object. So how we can say the car has a blue color, the car has a black color, the car has a white color, the car has a yellow color. So this color is a particularly attribute. This color is a particularly a property of that object. The pen has different colors. The pen has a different colors. The mobile has different colors and attributes. It has some size. Maybe it is 6 inches long. Mobile, the screen is different. Some make is different. Manufacturing is different. So everything, the car has a manufacturer, maybe Maruti, maybe Toyota, maybe Hyundai, maybe Audi or something, Mercedes-Benz. So these are the properties of an object. So here we can say the state is an attribute, or state is a property, or state is a characteristics of an object. So we are working on object-oriented programming. So, for example, one of the objects we say that if we say that an object, so any object in the world is existable and which is a distinguishable from others, every has different attributes and every object has different property. Every object has a different character. Okay, and what is behavior? So behavior in the sense that how it represents by the method, the object can be represented by its methods. So how it works, for example, the how car is working, car has different gears. If we make the first gear, if we put the first gear, the car will move to the forward direction. If we take the returning or reverse gear, the car will move to the backward direction. Also, car has a different gears. For example, first gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear, sixth gear, maybe in seventh gear. So this object has a different methods of how we can drive. So that is the driving has its behavior. If you are starting the car, that is the particularly identity. So for example, we are starting the car, the ignition will be get started of the car. So that is a particularly the event occurred by the particular programmer or event occurred by that driver. So driver, he is driving the car with its behavior. It has a different method of driving, different methods of driving. So you can move this car by 20 kilometers speed and you can move that car in 90 kilometers per hour speed. So that has the different responses of this object. So car has different responses. For example, you are moving this car in forward direction in 20 kilometers per hour speed, or you can move this car in 90 kilometers per hour speed. So that has a different behavior. But if you are starting that car, your ignition will get started. The key of that car, you are moving that key and the car will get started. The ignition will be given to the engine and the petrol or diesel is moved towards the engine and it get burned. And if it burns, it will get started. So identity in the sense that the particular event is occurred with this object. So car is get started. So it gives the unique name to an object and enables object to interact with other. So how the objects are interacting with other objects, you can say the car has different objects. For example, engine is different, the car ignition is different, gears are different, then petrol and diesel tank is different. You are moving that petrol and diesel to the engine. Your steering is different, wheels are different, your suspension is different, your comfortability is different identity. So maybe in every car, if we say that car is an object, also we can move that car in the class. Also, the class car may have different objects like steering, like gear, like engine, like ignition, like petrol and diesel tank and wheels, maybe the different things which are existable in the car. So this has a unique name. So, for example, if we consider the dog is an object, we see that the next diagram for the identity, state, and behavior. Let us see. What is this? The identity of that dog, that is the name of that dog, identity. So we have also our name. what we can say, our attributes are different also. If we say the person is also an identity. For example, my name is Deepak. Anybody's name, we can say everybody's name is different. Maybe Anil, maybe Ashok, maybe anything. So identity of any person will be given, it is an object. So, but if we say that Anil or Ashok has a different attribute, for example, age, color, breed, that is also different. Age, what is the age of Anil? Maybe 50 years. What is the age of Ashok? Ashok is 25 years old. Maybe the colors are different. Their heights are different, their weights are different, their chests are different. So the styles are different. So yeah, that is having the attributes. So the name of the dog is different, its breed is different, age is different, color is different, but it has a different attribute. And how it behaviors, any dog has different style of barking. Any dog has different style of sleeping. Any dog has different style of eating. Any person is also how he talks, how he walks, how he behaves. That is a different behaviors. How he sleeps are different behavior. How he eats, maybe somebody is vegetarian, somebody is non-vegetarian. So eating behavior is also different with person to person. So name of these all these dogs and their attributes and behaviors are method, attributes are the characteristics, or attributes are the properties. So objects correspond to the things found in the real world. See here, this is very important sentence written here. The objects correspond to the things found in the real world. See, things found in the real world. What we say that in our earlier talking, I said that anything which is found, which is distinguishable and which is existable in the world, that is also an object. How we can say that is also an object. So in the real world life, anything related to you, anything related to the world, anything existable on this earth, anything existable in this universe, anything which is exactly distinguishable from the others, and anything which is existable, that is, those things are actually found in the real world. So for example, what if we say that in our object oriented programming, a graphics program may have the objects such as circle, maybe square, maybe menu. For example, an online shopping system might have objects such as shopping cart, maybe the customer, maybe the product. The products in the bazaar are the objects, and you are taking the bucket, that is shopping cart, and you are the customer, you are also object. See, the products which are placed in the racks of that bazaar, those you are placing in the shopping cart, and you are moving that shopping cart towards the counter of that bazaar. When an object of a class is created, the class is said to be instantiated. So when we create the object, the class is said to be instantiated. So the class may have different objects, so that those are all objects. So those are objects are instance of that class. All the instances share the attributes and the behavior of the class. All the instances, that is, all the objects shares the attributes and behavior of the class, but the values of those attributes, that is the state, are unique for each object. Say, for example, what is the meaning of this one? But the values of those attributes that is the state are unique for each object. So objects are different. For example, I have a wristwatch, that is object. It has a make from Titan. It has a make from Ricoh. So it has different attributes. There are two only, uh, there are only two ticks. Okay, it may have different attributes. For example, if we say that one tree has a different leaves and flower, but that flower is different from other flower. Some flowers are small, some flowers are large. So it has a different leaves. Leaves are also different. Every leaf is different from other. So this is the state, that is attributes or characteristics, which are the unique, sorry, so this is the state are unique for each object. A single class may have any number of instances. So any single class, it has many instances, that is, it has many objects. So, okay, thank you all of you for attending our class. Thank you very much, all of you. I think there are 30 people. Please get tuned. I will take this screenshot of our participation. So I think there are 32 students are there.